Greetings. This is the one you've known as Jesus the Christ. The stumbling block to noticing grace in one's life is a lack of trust. Those who trust life and love God do so because they recognize grace's hand in life. This trust allows them to relax and enjoy life and experience God's benevolence. Those who don't trust life don't recognize grace, and often this is due to a lack of trust in God because of negative beliefs about God. So we're back to beliefs. Trust is founded on beliefs. What do you believe about life, about others, and about God? These beliefs matter as they determine how you feel inside as you face life and relate to others, how you behave in response to life and others, and how they behave toward you. Distrust is the lens through which the ego sees the world. The ego's distrust is a blanket distrust. In the ego's world, there's no room for nuance, no shades of gray. If, as a woman, you had a bad experience with a man, the ego concludes that you can't trust men. But such an all-encompassing distrust can't possibly be true. It's not true that life is untrustworthy, or that people or some segment of humanity is. Such an all-encompassing distrust is dysfunctional. It doesn't help you heal or help you going forward. Instead, it closes you down, and that only hurts you. It takes time before you know if you can trust someone or not. Then once you know that, you can trust that for the time being, but that could change. Life is just not as simple as the mind would like it to be. The ego likes sweeping statements. Men are not trustworthy. However, all you ever really know is what's true now, and even then you still may not know. Is someone trustworthy now, in this moment? Your mind won't be able to tell you, although the spiritual heart might. If your intuition is developed sufficiently, you might be able to know this. If not, you might have to find out the hard way. But this is how the intuition is developed and lessons are learned. There's no shame in learning this way, in trusting someone and then finding out he or she isn't trustworthy. How could you know? Mostly you don't know these things until you do. Life is messy, and you can trust life to be messy. This is how life works, and accepting this will help you relax and take things in stride. You have to feel your way through life by trial and error. What you can trust about life is that you'll learn as you go. You'll get better at discerning what's true and what isn't, and you'll have the inner and outer resources you need to deal with whatever you face. That is life's promise, in a sense. Life, God, or your soul promises to supply you with whatever you need to learn and whatever you need to grow. However, no one is promising this will be easy, only that it's possible to live your best life by tapping into your inner strengths, your courage, patience, love, peace, acceptance, perseverance, strength, and wisdom. Everyone has access to these qualities. Everyone is equally divine, and the messiness of life motivates you to discover these divine qualities within yourself. A positive, open, and trusting stance toward life feels better and is more functional than the opposite. An open and trusting attitude can make the difference between a happy life and an unhappy one, because a positive outlook opens you up to grace in all its forms, including people who are messengers of grace. And grace has good things in store for you. Grace has a plan, and it's unfolding your life according to that plan. Grace is wise, intelligent, and benevolent. It knows better than the voice in your head what you need to be happy and how to create the life you're meant to live. Yes, you're meant to live a particular life. You don't get to live someone else's life. You have your own life to live, and it won't look like anyone else's. How do you create that life? You co-create it with the forces that are shaping your life. You tune in to those forces and work with them. This might require tuning out the voice in your head or the voices in other people's heads, which may have other ideas. The guidance system you've been given is very personal to you. No one knows as well as you what is best for you. Your only job is to follow the spiritual heart as much as possible and not let the voice in your head derail you, to follow those subtle intuitions, nudges, inspirations, and yeses. Following these intuitive nudges will get you there, but you won't necessarily know where they're taking you until you get there. You only know what's true now, and this must be trusted. Following what's true now will take you to what's true in the next now, and so on. The map is very local. You don't get to know where life is leading you and where you'll end up. You're just living, and who knows what that will look like in the future, what you will choose, what someone else will choose, and how that will turn out. Your mind doesn't know how your life will unfold, no matter how much it thinks it knows or fantasizes about the future. Not even your soul knows. Not even the non-physical beings guiding you know this. This is how much in the unknown you really are. Living this way is like driving blind. But then you've always been driving blind while pretending to know where you were going and what would happen. The ego doesn't like the unknown. To it, not knowing feels unsafe and therefore untrustworthy. This is why the ego distrusts life, because it can't know what's ahead. But the unknowableness of life is not untrustworthy. It's just the way life is, and it can be no other way. Life was designed to be this way by an intelligent and benevolent creator for a good reason. This makes life supremely trustworthy, and just because the ego can't see this doesn't change this fact. Life is trustworthy because you can trust it to be the way it is, unknowable, changeable, unpredictable, sometimes surprising, sometimes dull, sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant. Life is predictably unknowable, changeable, and unpredictable. In that way, life is entirely trustworthy. It's just that the ego doesn't like unknowable, changeable, and unpredictable. What about you? Can you find that which is within you that loves not knowing, loves change, loves the unpredictability of life? Yes, these things make life fun. Imagine life without them. What would be the point? Indeed, there would be no point, and life does have a point, a purpose, a meaning. And that purpose and meaning is love and growth. Life is about discovering that you are a divine being masquerading as a human being, and then learning to live as the divine being that you are. To discover this requires an openness to learning and growing, and a willingness to discover new things about yourself, possibly even difficult things about yourself, mistaken ideas or prejudices you've held, painful memories and emotions you've held dear but need to let go of. Life intends to free you from everything that keeps you ensnared in the egoic state of consciousness, everything that causes you to distrust, and everything that makes you feel small, fearful, lacking, and unworthy. It intends to free you from every incorrect idea you hold, and every negative feeling you have ever felt or could feel. How benevolent! It's just that this process is sometimes difficult and even painful. Growth is humbling, and that's painful. It can be painful to realize you've held mistaken ideas for so many years, and that your false self, in fact, is one of those ideas. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your openness. I am with you always.